The PlayStation is over 30 years old now, and many people have fond memories of the games and playing them on old CRT displays. There's a lot to appreciate with the PlayStation. I still love using mine in 2024. Those who are new to the system or haven't used it in some time are noticing the texture warping on 3D games. It is not a secret, this graphical flaw has always been on full display, and it is a signature look of the platform. It is caused by a myriad of reasons, including the lack of a Z buffer, only relying on low quality vertexes, and a lack of perspective correction on the hardware can cause all of this. Using emulation, we can attempt to sort out the problem. I've shown Duckstation using perspective correction features before, but do they still work well when using native resolution? To find out, I played 15 games using software rendering and the Vulkan API to see if the PGXP settings work just as well at the native resolution versus, say, a 4K upscale. Let's begin. Let's start with Wipeout 3. This is a great racing game with great graphics and, as you can see, a 16:9 widescreen presentation. Look a little closer though and ooh yes, the walls are not straight, as I expected. Graphical flaws in the 3D environments on the PlayStation are commonplace and many games exhibit this problem. Personally, it doesn't bother me. However, can we fix or reduce the effect? Let's head into the Duckstation settings, turn on all the PGXP settings aside from the depth buffer, and look at that. It might not be apparent from first glance, but the textures are pretty much straightened out. The side-by-side really shows the difference. Honestly, I was very impressed with the feature. It actually works. Question is, will it work in other games? How about Ridge Racer Type 4? The game has a vast amount of texture wobble. In fact, at times the textures seem to jump as I race past them at full speed. The roofs in the tunnels look strange too. The floor is not even trying to hide. Enabling the PGXP settings once again makes a huge difference. Look how smooth the textures are. No weird jumping, no odd shapes, and the textures themselves are straightened out for good measure. Now you can focus on the extreme arcade action without odd distractions. How about Driver 2? I had to use the overclock function as I wanted a mostly smooth 30 frames per second for this game. It works so much better as a result. Anyway, the graphics. As you can see, buildings shake and move about in odd ways. The road is always updating oddly, as you can see here. PGXP corrects everything I just mentioned. I really was impressed with how well the function sorts out the texture wobble. It's even better when you realise the whole procedure to switch the feature on or off is so easy. Honestly, I recommend using the feature to improve the graphics of Driver 2. Resident Evil 2 is next, and this time the textures show another issue. As you can see on the character models, textures often clip through one another and limbs don't often join up well. This is where the depth buffer setting comes in. When we enable it and all of the other elements to PGXP, wow, look at this! The limbs are better joined up, the clipping is reduced massively, and we have more refined character models. I tell you, PGXP is amazing. Now it's Dead or Alive. Dead or Alive also requires the depth buffer, and as you can see in this side by side using the practice mode, PGXP makes most of the clipping disappear. I also noticed details that kept disappearing wouldn't do this when PGXP was enabled. I do enjoy seeing very clean character models fight each other, knowing it's still using the PlayStation's graphics. The final game I'll check out in depth is the Italian Job. It has a similar graphical style to Driver 2 and of course has the same graphical flaws as a result. The Italian Job benefits greatly from the PGXP enhancements. As you can see, the graphics are more stable now and most textures update in a much more convincing manner. I played a few more games for this episode. Allow me to show you the results via a montage and I will see you at the end. Duckstation's PGXP settings definitely work even at native PlayStation resolution. The flaws with the PlayStation's texture wobble are endless, and for those who wish to reduce or remove it, Duckstation has your back covered. I guess now there's a debate to be had. Is it worth changing a characteristic of the PlayStation's graphics to improve the experience? Purists will argue, much like dithering, the texture flaws are part of the charm and why the PlayStation is so memorable. Ultimately, this is up to you to decide, and as long as you are happy with the game and how it looks and runs, that's the most important thing. What do you folks think of Duckstation's PGXP settings? Tell me in the comments, and I will see you soon.